Hello and welcome to CryptoWeeklies. In this video, we compare Bitcoin in 2022 versus Bitcoin in 2026. None of the content financial advice. Right now, the price of Bitcoin is recovering, but still low from the yearly open. The price is down 28% from the yearly open. If you check over here, the price of BTC is at around 67k. It did bounce a bit from those lows that it hit in early February at around 60k. This is again in line with what happened in 2022 around the same time period. You can see 2022 is this line in orange, 2026 is this line in pink. Same time in 2022, mid to late February 2022, the ROI was negative 21%. This time around, the bear market has been more brutal, especially at the start of the year. It looked like the bear market was not as brutal as in 2022, but there was one major sharp drop, more similar to this drop over here from May 2022, early May 2022 till mid May 2022. That kind of slope of that drop from ROI of positive 0.5% late January to negative 29% within a week or so. That 30% drop again from negative 16 to negative 40, or even from negative 34 to negative 60. That kind of a drop was already behind us. And for context, what we need to see is how different 2025 was from 2021, or even compare 2025, late 2025, that drop that Bitcoin had towards the end of year. Again, Bitcoin did have a negative 2025, which was the first time in a post-halving year the ROI towards the end of the year was negative. For context, 2021 ended with a ROI of positive 60%, that means that again from that year to date ROI of positive 32%, there was one major drop of negative of about 40% from that positive 32% to negative 10%. So that one major drop for Bitcoin already occurred in 2025, whereas in comparing that with 2021-2022 cycle, I know there was one major drop from that positive ROI of 130% to 57%. That major high from that major high, that the drop of 60% already occurred in 2021. But 2022, again, there were two distinct major drops. First in May, and then again early June, and then final drop was quite uh, quite a diminished version of that drop from 55% to 65%. Although it felt a lot scarier at that final drop, but the major drops came early on in the second quarter of 2022. One could argue that one major drop has already occurred in 2026, and then there could be only one, again potentially only one major drop if in 2026, maybe slightly early on, maybe in May to June of 2026, like it occurred from that March. At that point, in March, late March 2022, the ROI at one point was closing up enough to be in the positive territory. It was at around 1 point from the yearly open, negative 0.46. This time around, Bitcoin yearly open for BTC, again these are the monthly candles. The yearly open, or the yearly high for Bitcoin was 98k. The yearly open was, I think, at around 87k. Let me just confirm it. Yes, so 87 to 88k. This is the first candle. These are the daily candles instead of monthly candle. This is the first candle of the year where the open was at around 88k. So if the price were to go back to into the near positive territory sometime in late March of 2026, price of BTC could be somewhere close to 80 to 85k, not actually go to the top of the channel and reach that ROI in the positive territory. So 80-85k could be that one major counter trend rally. If that were to occur and price were to go back to that ROI of positive territory, that could in the short term seem like a great counter trend rally, but the directionality for the rest of the year uh, would largely be negative in the second half of the second quarter of 2026, maybe late May uh, to early June 2026, like it occurred in 2022. That's just anecdote from the past cycle. Nonetheless, again, even if you compare the current cycle with 2018, which was again a bear market year, the blue color is 2018. I will just get rid of 2022. So there was again one major rally early March. From this point again, one could argue in 2018 the rally actually took place in February. There was a sharper drop from that January high, which was in a positive ROI in 2018, and then there was one sharp drop in January, which concluded in February to ROI of negative 49%. A similar drop occurred in 2026, a major drop over here. Again, 2026 is more similar to 2018 in that regard. If there is uh, counter trend rally, that could also be kickstart and be over with in early part of March, and then again maybe the later half of March would start looking more similar to 2018. So that's the argument, whether it's more similar to 2018 or 2022. Taking an average case of both of them certainly provides some similarity, or some similarity where both these lines, the 2018 and the 2022 negative seasonality typically occurs in May and then again follows in June, and one major drop towards the end of year, maybe October November time period. And that's where again these historical bear market years, the 4-year based bear market years for Bitcoin, have typically gone to those levels. Again, this chart is available for your own use on cryptoweeklies.com. That's my own website. This is the home page of it, and to find this web chart, this is in the ROI section, and you can select the years either from here or at this area, where you can just not just compare Bitcoin's performance, but maybe add other assets, how they are doing. If Bitcoin is still leading the pack, I think the Bitcoin related rally or Bitcoin related bear market has still put the Bitcoin dominance in a favorable position. It's still hovering somewhere close to that. Let's switch it to monthly view. Somewhere close to that area of support at around 58%. Again, there could be, again, based on how the market cycle proceeds, if you check something similar in 2018, late 2018, there was a lot of time spent at that 53 to 55% level before it kind of rose to the upside. So maybe something similar is afoot over here, where the Bitcoin related dominance or Bitcoin market share is spending that key time over here building a base, maybe somewhere similar to what it did in 2022 as well, but that happened in the later half of 2022. Let's see if how all of this kind of plays out for Bitcoin bottom for 2026. What we have over here is, again, not financial advice, but this estimation based on a risk-based model. The base bear case now is closer to the $40,000 level for Bitcoin, which is from here at around 38% drawdown. This is based on how the time weighted average price risk, which is the gravity time, like the average price since 2017 was the simple moving average risk and what's the regression risk. So these components do help identify what's the, so for example, how far is the price away from this blue line, which is the time weighted average price. The price doesn't have to go to the bottom of the time weighted average price. There is a tolerance of 20% built. That's why the bottom is not 27k, at around 40k. That's also an extrapolation how the price and the time weighted average price could be close enough towards the end of the bear market, like they were back in 2022 when there was only a difference of 24%. Now there is a difference of about 132% in the bear market. Prior to that, the difference at the bottom was positive 11%. So maybe this time around, positive 30% difference from that eventual time weighted average price floor going to about 30k towards the later half of 2026. And if you add that 30% on that 30k, gets close enough to 40k. 30% would be of a 30k would be $9,000. So 39,000 and a couple of thousands for again extrapolation at that point gets the price floor per the time weighted average price model. This is again the assumptions and the description behind the model. You can check it out on CryptoWeeklies.com. The DCA model or the regression risk has gone low now. The price, the polynomial regression based fair value estimation for Bitcoin, the price is below the fair value, but again it's quite similar to what Bitcoin achieved in June 2022, early June 2022. That's the similar risk level, 0.38, now 0.37. The sharper decline or going to this 0.2, this blue zone or the plum zone is still pending. Again, there are no guarantees that the price has to go to those regression based risk levels. One could argue that price did not go into orange or red color in the peaks of 2025. So there could be this 0.1 risk level could be out of scope this time, but the 0.2 risk level could still well be in play. Even the point between 0.2 and 0.3 risk could still well be in play. That's the first zone that I am personally speaking looking forward to before doing major DCA or dollar cost average into Bitcoin for the bear market. So this is something I use personally. Looking at where the price could find a bottom, the 0.1 risk per this model is at around $39,000. The 0.15 risk is at around 50,000. So that's the optimistic case. The 0.2 is already behind us. The 61 drop to 61k was already behind us. In February, price did go close to that level. So next stops is $50,000, and one could argue $39,000 to $40,000 at the very lowest for these models. The 20-week simple moving average price based risk is again has signaled a buy zone over here where the risk is less than 0.1. That's because the price did have a significant drop in that February to early February to late February drop that we just saw in that ROI based chart. All in all, as the Bitcoin composite risk, you can see crypto composite risk model over here on the home page itself is in less than 0.3. That means there is some sense into looking into Bitcoin as it matures into that bear market bottom. But again, it's not as low as it could go. Let's say less than 0.2 risk or between 0.1 and 0.2 risk in that composite risk towards the end of the bear market. That's where the serious accumulation zone for Bitcoin exists. All in all, hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, please give a like and subscribe, and hope to see you again tomorrow. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye bye.